Good Sunday afternoon, my good people. So I just did on stereo a little podcast talk conversation with Clarist Conscious HLC and Kathy B606 on here. We were continuing our talk about depression and we had some other insights about it. I don't know if there is I don't know how stereo works, so I don't know if it's recorded for you to check it out at a later time. But we did mention some different little tidbits that we may not have talked about when we were with Straight No Chaser with the Queen and Mind Games Uncut. I'm not doing this over, guys. At any rate, during the conversation, when it was my turn to speak, they couldn't hear me because it was messing up. And on here, I guess it's called a strike. I'm not able to comment for another day because they claim that my comments were bullying or some nonsense. It's the truth, but however you want to talk about it. Anyway, a lot of times when people are depressed, they may not know it as depression because they are just going with the flow, just continuing their day as they would normally go about their day. I'm going to give you an example about myself. When I was living in New York, I want to say 2013, 2014, maybe even 2015, I would not do laundry for very, very, very long periods of time because the laundries that were close to me were run by people who I didn't want to associate with and give my money to, and they kept their places dirty. The machines were always overcaked with other people's soap, the powders, and it was never clean. It was just, you have to find a machine that wasn't as gunky as the next. And that got to be a problem. So I did not want to go there, and that was the closest one to me. So a few blocks away, I would go to one that was clean because the person was there cleaning the machines while you're doing your laundry. But the person in charge of the change only responded to you in Spanish. She knew what you were talking about, but I didn't know what she was talking about because I'm not, yeah, I had Spanish in high school. I know some words, but I don't know if I want to use the word lazy to learn somebody else's language. You can say ignorant if you want, but I just don't. And I love a lot of the different languages. I love the sound of a lot of different languages and how they come across, but I just don't want to take the time to learn them. And I don't know if you call that lazy, you want to call it ignorant, you call it whatever you want. I'm not doing it. So I don't really know what the communication was, but every time I went there, it was always, nobody was in there until I got in there. And then everybody came. I just don't like being around a lot of people. I don't like being in crowds. So for that, I would not go. And I had the coins. Coins would pile up. I had more coins. I just didn't want the social interaction. And then people started bringing their dogs in. I don't like dogs in enclosed spaces because when I grew up, it was a health hazard. You don't know what this dog has. You're not supposed to be around every dog. But apparently, the health issue went out the window. Dogs are in restaurants, dogs are in stores, dogs are everywhere. I don't have anything against dogs. I have something against the people that bring dogs into enclosed spaces. You don't know people's aversions to dogs. What if I'm terrified of dogs? The dog sense that and they bite me. And I can't punch you in the face. So I don't want to get involved. So all kinds of things were happening. So I don't know if people want to call that a depression. Because when I would talk to my friends at work, I said, I haven't done laundry for weeks. And they said, are you depressed? I'm like, no, and I used to do a thing that I did not go to laundry. So I would buy clothes, like little things, shirts, pants, underwear, and wash them out to wear as opposed to going to laundry. And the same thing with my shoes. I don't know what was wrong with me back in the day. I would just buy things to replace it as opposed to doing whatever I was supposed to be doing. That was the right thing to do in the first place. Anyway, I digress. So sometimes people don't think that they are depressed. I've never taken on titles. I've never taken on titles because that's not who I am. I'm totally wonderful. I don't need to be depressed. I don't have anything to do with depression. I don't want to just lay down and do nothing. I believe there was a time, and when I lived in New York, I never really went out on the weekends because I worked for New York City Transit, and I had to give people travel directions all day, every day, Monday through Friday anyway. And then on the weekends, a lot of times it was track work, so you always have to try to make some different adjustments if you're going to take the bus or subway somewhere. So I stayed in the house to avoid all that nonsense. And then when I was living, it's Bergen Street on the F train. I don't know what they call that area. It's not Clinton Hill because that's further over. It's not downtown Brooklyn because it's a little further in. I think they called it Cobble Hill. But I was in the Gowanus houses at that time, which is the projects. And my kids were so upset about that. That's the place I could afford. That's the place I got to. That all these brownstones were across the street and we were in the projects. But I never had any mice in the projects. So I was happy to live there. I can talk about the other stuff that happened in the elevators, but I didn't have any mice in my apartment. I was good. We stayed in the projects for 10 straight years. That was crazy. At any rate, going to the laundry and not doing laundry, somebody at work may have considered that depression. When I was having a conversation with my friend, you can't be feeling okay if you don't go to the laundry. I know the clothes got to stink. All those things piled up like that. And I didn't smell it, so maybe I was nose blind because I didn't have a dirty clothes laundry smell. But somebody was pointing it out to me, and I had to sit and think, am I depressed? No. If you don't take on the moniker of depression, you're not going to feel the helplessness. And there were lots of times that I felt helpless. When I first left transit, I did not do it in the right way. I kind of switched it up and changed it so that I can do early retirement. But before that, I just left. Flat out left with nothing. So it took some while for me to get money in. So I was feeling down that I didn't have money. But then Marilyn stepped in and gave me a little bit of something for doing some work and blah, blah, blah. What is this thing for? Work to welfare? Welfare to work? So I did that for a few months until my retirement kicked in, which was not too far. But I think from March to June. Yeah, March to June, I had to do some volunteer work at this place. So, in that regard, the state of Maryland was nice to me, and I appreciated living here. I know the change between Maryland and New York, where I'm at, is totally wonderful. I'm not going back to New York because I don't have time for the rat race, and I'm in a retirement state of mind. And the places that I'm living in Maryland have been like retirement places because they've been quiet for the most part. Quiet, nice, clean, not too many problems. I've never had any issues. No one's ever tried to come and rob me. No one's ever tried to say anything racially motivated to me. Thank God. So I have not had issues here. But in the beginning, when we first got here, because I wasn't able to contribute financially so much, it could have had me in a downward spiral. But I don't think I was. I was sitting there watching television shows, messing my leg up. I was watching Bones when we first got here. I had 12 seasons. I sat and watched 12 seasons of Bones. Yeah. So, and that's because, why did I watch Bones? Because my son was talking about it and she dealt with forensics. And I wanted to be in forensics a long time ago, another lifetime ago. So I am saying all this to say that sometimes the daily activities that you're dealing with may seem hopeless, and if you're doing it long enough and you're not noticing that it's hopeless, it could be seen by someone else's view as depression. I'm not taking on the moniker of depression because I'm not depressed. My life is my life. The things that I get are what I get. Whatever money I have is what I have. I don't feel closed in. Now, I was closed in some time ago. I felt like a trapped, drowning rat before I left my then husband. And it wasn't depression either. It was, what's this thing called? Motivation to get out of there, which I did. And I have been through a lot in this life, and I have to sit and think about it. I forget about a lot of the things that I went through, but I'm here. And I used to be a pessimist. I was just having this conversation in my head today about being a pessimist now versus now being an optimist. While I'm on melanated people, this one guy, and I didn't even think it was a diss. He said, he sent something to me, and it says it's better to be overly optimistic than a pessimist or a Debbie Downer or something. I said, and it took me weeks to think that is this man dissing me, because I'm always finding something positive to say about it. Right now, we are. Well, I say we because I really feel the need for the platform because it needs to be there. So, because we need cash, I'm always saying positive things that we're going to get it, we're going to make it, it's going to work itself out. So, I guess he got tired of it, but he left to do whatever else he was doing. Getting back to depression. Some people may not feel that they're depressed, so they don't know how to talk about it with people. But if you see someone going down that road, find a way to gently ask them probing questions to see where their mind is and how you can help them if you can. That is all I came on to say. And I hope you guys have a beautiful Sunday. Right now it's sunny out. These kids are bubbly and happy in the background. And I would really like to take a nap. So thank you guys for listening. Please continue to enjoy this beautiful Sunday.